Mackenzie's Raiders. His secret orders from the President of the United States. Clean up the Southwest. Make it a fit place for Americans to live. Wipe out the renegades, outlaws, and murderers. If necessary, cross the Rio Grande, knowing capture means hanging by the enemy. Discovery, court-martial by the United States Army. February 1876, Fort Clark. A stormy night on the Texas plains. A night which took an unexpected turn for Colonel Ranald Mackenzie.
Someone to see you, sir.
Good Lord, at this hour? What about?
Wouldn't say, sir, just that it's urgent.
Try to get rid of him.
It's a lady. Came out from Bracketville by carriage.
A lady?
Yes, sir.
Sure in.
Yes, sir.
Colonel Ranald Mackenzie, at your service, ma'am.
You will know me only as Conchita.
Oh. Will you sit down?
No, thank you. What I have come to say is only one word. Porfirio.
Huh. You may rest here in my sleeping quarters, Conchita. If we can do anything to make you more comfortable, please call on my lieutenant. We'll leave at dawn.
Porfirio Diaz, Mexican patriot and hero. In 1876, desperately trying to defend the new constitution of his country against manipulation and dictatorship. Ranald Mackenzie's secret orders from Washington: form an underground railway, transport certain highly placed liberal exiles back into Mexico, there to rejoin Diaz. Ask no question. The secret word: Porfirio.
Pablo, my friend, I bring another patriot for Porfirio Diaz. This time a lady.
Colonel Mackenzie is a true friend for freedom for Mexico. He brings credit to the government he serves.
Mr. Beauregard, $500.
Mrs. Cabot, I am a man of, well, innate delicacy. I hesitate to take money for...
Nonsense. You gave me certain information about Colonel Mackenzie that proved correct. I agreed to pay you for it. $500.
Let us say I merely did you a favor, shall we? Why don't you keep the money and return the favor, dear Lucinda?
Get out.
Now, wait a minute. You certainly do accept favors.
Pick that up and get out.
Let's not be quite so grand, shall we? You forget I know a certain cattle king and a certain copper baron, and I know they know you.
And I know you, Mr. Beauregard. A presumptuous weakling who makes his living peddling information that he picks up around Bracketville bars. Now, in 5 seconds, this pistol will go off.
Mrs. Cabot, I presume.
Colonel Mackenzie, I presume. So good of you to come.
So good of you to ask me.
I feel I know you, Colonel. And yet it's only by reputation, of course.
And I you, madam.
Oh, dear. Oh, don't think too badly of me, Colonel.
I intended no obloquy.
Are you always so very grave, Colonel? Or do you sometimes smile? Oh, no, that's unfair. It's just that I was once a guest of one of your lieutenants at one of your regimental reviews. I remember you as impossibly dashing, so very grave.
Perhaps the next time I address my troops, I can think of something terribly witty to say to them.
There, I've made you cross. Just when I wanted to please you most. Do sit down, Colonel. Shall I get you a drink? Or shall I bring you something hot?
Forgive me, Mrs. Cabot. Forgive me for being grave, Mrs. Cabot, but you have me at a disadvantage.
Yes. I know why you're here.
Exactly. Your note said only that you wanted to see me on a matter of the utmost importance.
Utmost. Porfirio. Perhaps now, Colonel, you'll reconsider and sit down. And let me be unpleasant all at once and then no more of it. 2 days ago, you and your men crossed the Rio Grande into Mexico. Yesterday, you returned, having left somebody there. I saw you.
Those are preposterous statements, madam. Who would believe them?
The girl who came to you 2 days ago, the girl who said the secret password Porfirio, the girl you then took into Mexico and left there at the usual place. She's my maid. And if my terms aren't met, the two of us will be believed.
And what are your terms?
You.
I beg your pardon?
I want to marry you. You have exactly everything I've always wanted. And this is my chance to get those things. Career, family, position. And I have everything you need. Money, beauty. And I'm as lonely as you are. One more thing, Colonel. I'll make you a very good wife. I promise you.
But good heavens, young lady. You're not just playing games with men now. You're playing with lives. You're playing with nations. For all I know, you're playing with history itself. You spoiled, willful, ridiculous little...
Mr. Cabot used all those words once, too, and more. And I guess you and Mr. Cabot must be right, but nevertheless, those are my terms. Marriage, or I should imagine, court-martial. There now. I said I was going to be unpleasant all at once and then no more of it.
I don't suppose you'll tell me who the informer is?
Never, Colonel. Never.
May I assume that I have some time to consider this honor?
Oh, but of course. Shall we say 2 hours?
Very well, madam. Within that time, I shall wait upon you again. Good day.
Oh, and Colonel, Ronald. Besides being very grave, you are indeed impossibly dashing.
A 2-hour ultimatum. All right, Lieutenant. Alert the raiders.
The raiders, sir?
The raiders. I've got to get into Mexico. I've got to see Pablo. By now, he'll have discovered that that poor servant girl of Mrs. Cabot's is a fraud. He'll suspect me of treachery. The next thing, Porfirio Diaz will suspect the whole United States government of treachery.
Yes, sir. I wonder what they'll do with Conchita.
Conchita is merely a pawn in this game. It would seem that the queen is Lucinda Cabot. If there were only some way of persuading that woman.
There isn't. There's no use trying, sir. You don't know Lucinda like I do.
Lieutenant, I wasn't aware that you knew Mrs. Cabot at all.
Oh, well, sir, she was my guest at the regimental review once. Nothing more. She was a little too demanding for my taste.
Yes, I can imagine.
I just thought I should warn you, sir. There's no chance of persuading her. Not Lucinda, not when her mind's made up. She likes to have her own way.
So do I. All right, Lieutenant. It'll be dark in an hour. We'll leave then. Get going.
Yes.
Come in, Ronald. You're admirably prompt, my pet. 2 hours almost to the minute. You see? All ready for you. Supper à deux.
Mrs. Cabot, in the military, we soon learn not to give ultimatums we can't enforce.
That sounds unpleasant. Is it meant to be?
Merely an observation. Please get dressed immediately for a journey.
A journey?
Obviously, I can't put you in the stockade to keep you quiet. On the other hand, I can't leave you here in Bracketville either with what you know. Therefore, you will accompany me. Kindly get dressed.
You mean you'd actually abduct me?
Call it what you will. I'll give you 10 minutes.
Now who's giving the ultimatum?
I am. And I have the necessary force. Mrs. Cabot, outside this window, I have a squad of men. And I'm perfectly capable of calling them in here to take you by force if you make it necessary. I'll give you 10 minutes.
You know I believe you would.
10 minutes.
I'll be at least half an hour.
I said 10 minutes.
Well, you ridiculous man. My hair, my clothes.
We're not going to a ball, Mrs. Cabot.
10 minutes. I absolutely refuse. I will not leave this house looking like a frump.
Lieutenant,
Yes, Colonel.
please have the men...
No. No, don't call them. You win. For the moment, I'll get dressed.
Have the men stand easy for 15 minutes.
I'll be at least 20.
Lieutenant, it's a wooded area about a mile down. We'll camp there until daybreak.
Yes.
Oh, Lieutenant. See that Mrs. Cabot has this blanket in addition to her own.
Oh, you'll be cold.
You heard me, Lieutenant. Tell her it's an extra.
Yes.
Having organized under secret orders an underground railway to bring assistance to Mexican patriot Porfirio Diaz, Mackenzie finds not only it, but his entire mission in the Southwest threatened by the blackmail of a spoiled and willful girl.
Wouldn't it have been simpler just to marry me? You're cold. Why don't you have the men light a fire?
We can't risk a fire. We're in Mexico.
Why are we in Mexico?
Because of you and your monumental selfishness. There are Mexican patriots, men of courage and goodwill, who may have lost all faith in your country because of you. That's why we're in Mexico.
What are you going to do with me?
I haven't an idea. But I know what I'd like to do. I'd like to start by turning you over my knee and spanking you. Cabot's cabin is just over that rise.
He'll get killed. Why do you let him do it?
Let him?
I can't take this. I've got to see what's happening to him.
How is it you think we will not kill you, gringo?
Because you have no reason to kill me, Pablo.
No reason. We are fighting for our country. We are fighting for democracy. We are fighting for our lives. And you send us informers, spies.
That girl was no spy.
She is no patriot for Porfirio Diaz.
Now, that's what I've come to tell you. Someone played a trick on me. Someone knows our secret.
Who? Who knows our secret?
So far, I have only half the answer to that question. Until I get the other half, you must accept no more patriots from my country. Where's the girl?
Why would he go in there?
You must think it's important. Look.
Lieutenant,
Yes, sir.
kindly bring Mrs. Cabot over here. Please be so good as to step into the house, Mrs. Cabot. Please wait here, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
Pablo, I present Mrs. Cabot. These men are patriots, Mrs. Cabot, if you know what that word means. They pledged their lives to make their country free. In the past, I've helped them. They were my friends. Now they no longer trust me. Kindly step in there.
Conchita.
Pablo's men killed her when they discovered she was a fraud. Naturally. In a revolution, you shoot first and ask questions later. They had no way of knowing that she was merely one of Lucinda Cabot's pawns, whose life or death couldn't mean less to Lucinda Cabot. This lady is Pablo's mother. She insisted on praying for Conchita properly before they buried her.
Colonel Mackenzie, I have decided that because you have been my friend in the past, I will permit you to leave Mexico. You will leave right now before I change my mind.
Would you walk with me, Colonel?
Certainly.
I assume that we're returning to Bracketville.
Right.
What's to become of me?
That question's been on my mind for some time. Obviously, I can't do away with you. I can't put you in jail for the rest of your life. I can't send you to Timbuktu. So it would seem that as long as I have duty in the Southwest, near you, I can never feel safe again.
I still want to marry you, Ronald Mackenzie.
I'm completely at your mercy.
I didn't finish. I still want to marry you, but I wouldn't, not even if you asked me freely. Not now,
Why the change of heart?
because now I've seen what you do. I've seen what you are. Because now I love you.
Full cycle. I abducted you from this room. Now I return you to it. Goodbye, Mrs. Cabot.
Goodbye, Colonel Mackenzie.
Please don't leave yet, Colonel. I've been waiting for you both.
Who the devil is this?
You haven't made my acquaintance yet, Colonel, but I know a good deal about you and about Mrs. Cabot. You see, well, information is my business.
This is a friend of yours?
She is now, a devoted friend. She's going to do me certain favors. And so are you, Colonel. Often.
I should imagine this is another blackmail scheme of some sort.
Exactly. You see, I know certain...
Beauregard.
Well, let's not be theatrical, Lucinda. You're not going to use that. Not with the Colonel present. See, the Colonel is responsible for law and order in the whole territory. You know, he'd have to put you in jail for the rest of your life.
I had to do that for you.
Colonel?
He was the one who told me about Porfirio. He knew you crossed the river. I had to kill him for you. Oh, Ronald. Now you can feel safe again. Because now I'm at your mercy.
Colonel, are you all right? Colonel, where are you?
It's all right, Lieutenant. Come in here. We stumbled on him rifling Mrs. Cabot's apartments. Unfortunately, I had to shoot him. Please inform the sheriff. Ask him to come and get the body.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Lieutenant,